Week 7 of the fantasy basketball season, and here's a few guards falling down the rankings this week here. The first guy is Mikal Bridges of the Phoenix Suns. So Bridges early in the season, he was having a great year, but the last few weeks now, he's really struggled on the year. 14.3 points a game, 5.3 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 1.1 blocks per game, 2.1 threes per game, 82% from the foul line, and 47% from the field. So on the season, he's ranked number 50th, but the last few weeks now, he's really dropped off. He's Mikal Bridges, ranking 225 with 10 points a game, 4 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1.3 blocks, 75% from the foul line, and an awful 38% from the field. So Bridges, he was hot earlier in the season, but now over the last few games and weeks here, he's really dropped off his production, and he was a guy I said to sell high early in the season. And if you did, good for you, because right now he's been up and down and inconsistent. The last couple games, he hasn't done much. February 1st at Dallas, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a block, a steal, 4 turnovers, 33% from the field. And then February 3rd at New Orleans, 4 of 12 from the field, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 3 blocks. So right now with Chris Paul getting going, DeAndre Ayton finally breaking out of his slump, and now Devin Booker coming off injury and playing, Mikal Bridges, the numbers are going to go down. There's going to be nights where he's going to be very inconsistent and not do much. So right now, he's definitely falling down the rankings. Like I said, on the season, he's ranked number 50th. But in the last 2 weeks, his ranking's 106, and this week, 225. So he's really struggling. And right now, he's a player falling down the rankings at the guard position. Hopefully, he could get back to what he was doing early in the season. But it wouldn't surprise me if he don't. The second guard falling down the rankings this week's Alfred Payne of the New York Knicks. Payton here, a lot of Knicks fans, they don't want him as the starter anymore, with Emmanuel quickly, the rookie, emerging now the last few weeks and games here for the Knicks. And Alfred Payne on the season, he's ranked 293, 11 points a game, 3.7 rebounds, 3.5 assists. No threes he really hit, 72% from the foul line and 42% from the field. So Payton, he's not hitting threes. He's not really stealing the basketball. His shooting percentage isn't all that good as well for Alfred Payne. And the struggles continue for Payton this year. He don't do much of anything good for fantasy owners and the Knicks. And right now, a lot of fantasy owners, they've had enough of him, dropping him in 4% of fantasy leagues this week. He's owned in 31% of leagues, but he's definitely fallen down the rankings. The last 4 out of 5 games, he's been pretty bad with Payton. January 26th at Utah, 4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 for 7 from the field. Then versus Cleveland, January 29th, 2 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, a steal. Then versus the Clippers, January 31st, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, a 3, 42% from the field. At Chicago, February 1st, 5 points, 2 rebounds, a steal, 2 for 5 from the field. And then the other night, he finally had a nice bounce-back game. 35 minutes he played, 9 and 19 from the field, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block. So Payton, he knows quickly is on his heels right now with taking the starting job. And he's really struggled with bad ball games like this, is Payton. And he's definitely fallen down the rankings. And it wouldn't surprise me to see quickly take over as the starter in the next week or two here. The more the games the Knicks lose and the more the struggles continue here for Payton. The next guard definitely falling down the rankings this week's Cam Reddish of the Atlanta Hawks. Cam Reddish, he was off to a great start to start the year, but right now he's really struggling, and it's quite obvious here for Cam Reddish on the season. He's ranked 229. 11.4 points a game, 4.2 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 1.2 steals, 1.3 threes a game, 81% from the foul line, and an awful 36% from the field. But now let's see his numbers for the last few weeks. 6.8 points a game, 2.3 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 66% from the line, and an awful 29% from the field. So owners, they've had enough of Cam Reddish too, dropping him in 4% of fantasy leagues this week. And on the last couple weeks now, his ranking is 367. So Reddish, he's not doing much. His last 3 out of 4 games have been horrible. At Washington, 7 points, 3 rebounds, a steal on January 29th. Then February 1st versus the Lakers, 6 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. Then versus Dallas, February 3rd, 1 for 8 from the field, 2 points, 3 boards, and assist. And then versus Utah, February 4th, 5 of 14 from the field, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. So Cam Reddish, he's not getting things going right now. He's really struggling. And the Hawks here, they've been without a couple main guys in Bogdanovich and DeAndre Hunter. And Reddish, he still can't get on the same page and get things going. And he's playing 29 to 32 minutes right now. So it's tough to see him struggling. But right now, he's a guy definitely falling down the rankings. And he's a guy pretty much droppable in all 10 to 12 team leagues is Reddish. The next guard falling down the rankings is Jon Marcant of the Memphis Grizzlies. Morant, he's been struggling ever since he came back from injury with that bad ankle sprain a few weeks ago is Morant. And then the long hiatus with all those games postponed for the Grizzlies where they didn't play for 10 days. And now the last few games, Morant, his stats are pretty basic right now. February 1st at San Antonio, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals. At Indiana, February 2nd, 10 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists, 2 steals, a block. And then versus Houston last night, 6 of 15 from the field, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. So Jon Marcant, he's not getting the job done. On the season, he's ranked 102, but the last few weeks now, he's ranked 214. And the numbers, like I said, are going down. The shooting percentage isn't all that great. But I think Morant, he's got to play himself back into shape after he pretty much missed a month with that bad ankle injury. And he'll get things going. And he's a player I had early in the week on the buy low list. So Jon Marcant, he's falling down the rankings right now with the guard position. But I think he'll rise back up in the 5th and final guard. Falling down the rankings here this week's Terrence Ross, the Orlando Magic. Ross, he's a streak player. And owners, they've had enough of Ross as well here, dropping him in 6% of fantasy leagues. On the season, 14.1 points a game, 2.7 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 1.1 steals, 1.8 threes a game, 89% from the foul line, 41% from the field for Ross. But in the last few weeks, he's really dropped off now. 10.3 points a game, 2.3 rebounds, 1.7 assists. He's not even hitting a 3 a game. 40% from the field, and the last 2 games have been even awful for him. 4 points a game, 2 assists at Toronto the 31st. And then February 2nd versus Toronto, again, 3 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. So Terrence Ross, he's in a slump right now. And hopefully he could change things and get things going here once again is Ross. But I don't know if he could do it. And he's definitely falling down the rankings, and he's a streaky player. But right now, in the last 3 or 4 games, it really hasn't been going well for Ross. And he's definitely a guard falling down. And hopefully he'll get things going again, because we've seen good stretches out of Ross. So that's a few guards falling down the rankings here in Week 7 of the fantasy basketball season.